Welcome to everyone. My name is Anna Sapota, and I'm very pleased to welcome you on our discussion on EPR schemes for packaging, about its challenges and opportunities, which we hopefully will discuss today. And we would like to share during this discussion also best practices from other countries and other markets. So my expert guests today are Mr. Thierry Skovli from ROAF in Norway, Mr. Mathias Philipsson from Svensk Plastervinning in Motala in Sweden, Mr. Grzegorz Orzeszko from Zakład Utylizacyjny w Gdańsku, Mr. Laurynas Virbickas, I'm sorry, RATC Kauno in Lithuania, and Mr. Mariusz Rajca from Tomra Sorting in Poland. And what we know is that now in many countries in Europe, there is a big discussion on EPR schemes for packaging and on growing demand from the side of European Union to reach better recycling target, to cut the emissions, to find new solutions in terms of waste management. And what we would like to discuss today is a bit how to reach these targets, and also how the holistic resource system concept, which Tomra presented already last year, can be a solution maybe to some of these challenges. But before we will go deeper into discussion, I wanted to invite my guests to present in few words their facilities, the EPR schemes in the countries where they are living and working, to give you a brief idea what is the background and what is the experience of people which we are having here today. So first, I would like to give a word to Mathias to tell us a bit about the Swedish EPR scheme and environment.
Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Mathias Philipsson, and I work for a company called Swedish Plastic Recycling. So I'm not representing Sweden as a whole, but our company has a market share of about 90%, so we are quite representative. Currently, we are owning and operating a plant that is actually treating household packaging. It has a capacity of 100,000 tons per year, and it will or is currently being expanded. So in 2023, we will have the capacity of 200,000 tons. As I mentioned, we are only working with household packaging. If we look at the general figures for plastic recycling in Sweden, the number is 34% for 2020. That means the deposit system, household packaging, and commercial packaging. But like I said, my responsibility is household packaging. At the moment, we are sorting out 4 types of plastics, and in the future, we will add another 8 fractions. So the plant will be able to sort out 12 different fractions of plastics, which of course will increase recycling rates as well. And how do we get those materials to our facility? Well, we have 3 ways of doing that. Firstly, we use bring stations. People are leaving their packaging on the way to work or whatever. So we have 5,000 bring stations around all of Sweden. Secondly, we have curbside collection. That basically means that you collect the plastic packaging at the houses or the flats, at home, at people's home. And third, we also work with the incineration plants, the MRFs. They are starting to sorting out the plastics because they need to do that in order to become fossil free. So that's kind of a free market that is pushing for sorting out plastics before incineration as well, and those plastics we can receive at our plant in Motala in Sweden. We have some targets just for household packaging. My owners have decided that we should reach 55% recycling rate in 2025. So I have 3.5 years. This is actually possible, but a lot of things has to happen for it to be able to do that. And one of the most important things is, of course, the expansion of our sorting and recycling facility in Motala. Sweden has a target as well for all plastic packaging. We should reach 50% by 2025 as well. So this is pushing towards more collection, more recycling. And we also, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have a deposit return system for PET bottles. And this works, they are isolated from the rest of the plastic packaging.
Thank you very much. And now maybe time for Norway and Terje. What is the background in Norway and your activities there?
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me. I'm Terje, and I'm a sales manager at the Roaf plant just outside Oslo. It's an MSW plant, so we take household waste from 9 municipalities just north of Oslo. We have a capacity of 75,000 tons a year. And what we take out from this household waste is food waste that our inhabitants put in green bags. And then we take out 5 plastic fractions. 4 of them are good. That's PP, HDPE, LDPE, and PET. And then we have a mixed material. And so far, this is going to incineration. We also take out metals, ferrous and non-ferrous. And we also have started taking out tetras. At home, people have 2 bins. 1 bin for paper, cardboard, and tetra, and 1 bin for household waste, and also the green bags to go in the same bin. But in the future, we see that we need to do something with the food waste because people are not good enough to put food in the green bags. So to make them understand that it's a separate collection for food waste, even though the plant is working, it's taking out the green bags, but the people don't understand it or they won't really feel it. So we're putting out a 3rd bin for just food waste. Next year, I hope we're starting up with that. And we do, as many other municipalities in Norway, we collect all the waste, do it ourselves. And people have to bring glass and metal packaging to this. In our area, we have 350 points where you can deliver glass and metal packaging. You can also deliver textiles on those stations. In Norway, we have EPR system support, and for us, it's the green dot system in Norway. They take care of all kinds of plastics and also tetras and paper, but the plastic is the most important. And it's like that when we take out some good plastic that we can send to recycling, we get paid from the green dot system. And everybody that puts more than 1,000 kilos on the market of packaging needs to be a member of a green dot system. And in Norway, we used to have only 1 system or just 1 green dot system, but today we have 2. So now they are trying to get the customers much more.
Okay.
We also have a deposit system for all drinking bottles and cans. They collect through these reverse vending machines. I think it's almost 93% of the bottles and cans. So what's left for us is just a few percentage of PET and some cans. And they can do not so much better, I think. I think they made what they can do because almost everybody uses these kind of solutions.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. And now time for Lithuania. How does the system, a waste management system, works in Lithuania? What is your experience and what you can tell us about it?
Of course. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Laurynas Virbickas, the CEO of Kaunas Regional Waste Treatment Center. It's the second biggest region in Lithuania. We're in the center of Lithuania. And like from the point of history, like all the main investments to sorting of plastics and the waste came in around 2016 when MBT plants and deposit system were established. The numbers are quite huge, like several 100,000 tons of MSW, mixed solid waste, goes to MBT plants. And from it, some of them are composting, some of them are sorted out as plastics and metals. And in Lithuania, in total, there are 10 regions, and the total input of the, let's say, municipal waste are more than 1 million tons. It's together with bulky waste, green waste, plastics, and so on. Yeah, so mainly the ratio, what is happening with the waste in Lithuania is around 34% of all the waste are incinerated. Around 1/3 is composted, and roughly more than 10% is recycled and disposed in the landfills. Then the percentages of how much extracted of the input to the market of all the plastics, glasses, metals are increasing every year. And within this time, we already reached, let's say, metal fractions, because it's easier to know is it metal or plastic, not to make misunderstandings with different layers of plastic and so on. So let's say in Lithuania, there are all kinds of systems. It's a bulky waste sites, bulky waste sites for big, let's say, wardrobes, sofas, and so on, you know. Then curbside collection, also in the individual houses, and also deposit system, which is really fluently working. Of course, that when you have millions of workers, let's say every people in the country, they work and they take the future material for recycling, which is like the butter on the bread, the best thing what you can sort out. And then in MBT plants, of course, it's more difficult to extract because the best thing goes to deposit system. But the deposit system only goes, let's say, up to ½ liter of the cans and bottles, and which is the bigger ones, still goes to MSW or separate collections. So everything is going on. We're working hard, of course, dealing with ministries, municipalities, pros organizations, and figuring out how to make it even better.
Okay, great. So I hope that today's discussion will also give you some input for your thoughts on what we can do better, all of us. And now we are coming to Poland. Let's start from Gdańsk and Polish system. Of course, most of you know how does it look in Poland, but still, let's have a glimpse also for the others.
Hello. First of all, thank you for inviting me here. My name is Grzegorz Orzeszko. I'm CEO of Municipal Solid Waste Processing Facility in Gdańsk. Our facility serves for around 600,000 citizens of Gdańsk and neighborhood areas. So capacity of our plant is 160,000 tons per annum for the mixed waste, 1,500 tons per annum of mixed plastic and metals. And we process also bio-waste with our composting capacity on one unit 40,000 tons, the other unit is up to 80,000 tons. So the collection system we collect in 5 fractions. This is paper, metals and plastics, glass, bio-waste, and mixed waste. Majority of the stream, this is mixed waste. Speaking about EPR support, Of course, we have producers responsibility organizations, but they do not give sufficient support. So we can say that EPR support is, let's say, still in progress. It's not real support currently. The same situation we can say about deposit return systems. So currently, in contrast to my colleagues, we are at the crossroads. So we are waiting for a change, a huge change in EPR support, huge change in deposit return systems. So at the current stage, we don't exactly know what will be the let's say
the final setup
of the system.
Great. So now the last but not least, Mariusz, please, because we will also discuss the holistic resource systems, the approach which was promoted by Tomra since last year. If you could give us a few words about what it is, if someone was not yet ready to read our report, listen to us presenting the topic, maybe it's a good moment to say what is it and how it's built.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Mariusz Rajca and I'm heading up the Polish Tomra subsidiary responsible for Poland, Baltic, Czech and Slovakia. And I'm really glad to be here and thank you for having me here. So yeah, we all know that recycling is simply one of the most important part of the circular economy. And there are some obvious facts that it was already mentioned. It can be recycling only that what is collected or recovered for different stream. And another aspect is that if something is not really recycled, then most probably it's lost forever. So regardless whether we will bring it into the incineration or to landfills. So, and finally, Tomra also is not only developing their product, but also searching for the best experiences around of the world on different markets and trying to share those experiences with different market stakeholders. And one of the actions was to start a discussion with consulting company Eunomia and make a research by analyzing different cases in order to see what kind of technology in a well-developed practice, which are already existing, could be used in order to, and in a combination, in order to get the best possible outcome and results, means the high performance and the maximum of recycling. And finally, after the work of the study, or the effect of the study is exactly the holistic resource system, which contains 3 elements. The one is the separate collection. You might say it's nothing new. And indeed, you know, the one of the most important part of the separate collection is definitely the bio-waste sorting, the food waste and garden waste collection. Then is the paper, the glass, the textile and the electronic scrap. But what Eunomia considered that is not necessarily required to collect separately the plastics. So, and this some of the stakeholders see a bit controversial, but it's the outcome of the study. And we also today heard that there are some also practice in place already. The second element is the deposit return scheme, which 3 of our guests already have in their markets. And the deposit return scheme should cover basically the PET plastic bottle and the aluminum cans, and depends on the local requirements also partly the glass. So, and the third element is what also for some of the stakeholders still today, it might also be seen as a controversial, it's the mixed waste sorting. But we do observe that it contains a lot of packaging, although we have separate collection in DRS in place, and it simply seems that those systems are not efficient enough, or are not in those systems we are not able to collect enough material in order to bring it into the recycling. So, and those 3 elements are somehow underpinned with the or should be underpinned with a well-designed extended producer responsibility scheme. The goal for all this action should be to get the highest possible efficiency in each and every element and as a whole system with the goal to get the maximum out into the recycling.
Thank you very much. I think that now we kind of set the stage for the further discussion, to share the best practices, and I think that we can start the first round of questions. Okay, so coming to the first round of our questions, I would like to start from Noé and you, Terje, because this is well-established EPR scheme with a long history of cooperation. I would like to ask you, what, in your opinion, are the main challenges and motivations under your EPR scheme, and for your facility to do more? Or there is no motivation to do more? How does it look like?
Yeah, but when I can start with the obstacles, and I think the obstacle is we need to catch more. We really need to catch more. In our sorting facility, we catch a lot. But when you look to all the other municipalities in Norway that has curbside collection, they are losing a lot of the plastic packaging to incineration because they have no sorting. So I think that is the biggest one. And also an obstacle is the design for recycling of the products that is put on the market. There is a long way still to go. We have started to walk that way, and we are sitting together with the designers and everybody. So we try to tell them what would be the best for us, and then they tell what's the best for them. And then we come to a conclusion in the middle there somewhere. But it's important that design for recycling is put on the agenda.
And you are doing it together with the Green Dot scheme?
Yeah, we started alone, but after a year or two, the Green Dot system tag along. But we started to ask the producers of packaging that we were not able to recycle. And then we go back to the market and ask them, is it possible to do some changes? And I have really to say that almost all of the companies that we talked to were very open, and they wanted to do the right and make a change, but nobody had talked about it before. But now we and Green Dot and a lot of other companies in Norway and Sweden and everywhere, we are working together, and it really shows. And
in the end, it means that more packaging you are able to retrieve from the stream. It really makes a change.
It really makes a change, and we can extract as much as we can, but it must be recyclable. We can extract everything if we want, but we need to have somewhere to put it, and it should go to recycling and not to incineration or anything. So that is important.
And the EPR scheme is supporting financially in what scope?
Yeah. In both our facility, that is the one and only in Norway at the moment, we get money for every ton that we send to recycling, material recycling. And all the other municipalities get also paid, but then a little bit less for this curbside collection. Because, when you have curbside collection, it's not only plastic packaging, it's something else also inside it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. And by this, I want to come to another well-established EPR scheme in Sweden, and Matthias. I learned that the system EPR scheme in Sweden has just changed or will be changed soon. So why? If it's such a long history of well-established system, why you needed to change it? What has happened?
Well, we have the similar problems as Terje mentioned. We need to increase collection rates. We need to design more for recycling, and we need new technology. That's basically the main issues for us. Today in Sweden, 50% of the household packaging is actually being sorted at home by the consumer. And 50% is not. So they are throwing it in the household waste where it goes to incineration. So in theory, I can only recycle 50% because I lose
50% on the way.
Even in the beginning, 50%. So we need to increase collection rates. So just recently in June, they changed the legislation. So now it's the responsibility of the municipalities to collect the packaging, and the producers, my customers, need to pay for the collection system. And what will happen then? Well, the quality will definitely increase with 100% curbside collection instead of bring stations. Because we know that municipalities that are implementing curbside collection, people tend to sort more.
Okay.
So it will probably increase with 50 to 100%. This is, we know that for 70 municipalities that already has implemented the system. That's one of the benefits. The other benefit is that the quality will be better, increase, because currently 30% of the material we are receiving is actually not plastic packaging.
Okay.
So this will be sorted out and goes to incineration. With curbside collection, this amount will also decrease. So the material, we will get more, and the quality will be better. So that's one of the big changes on the Swedish market. And the municipalities has to implement this system, 100% curbside collection, until 2027. They will not, all of them will not have enough time, but I think before 2030 it will be implemented.
Okay. And what is the role of PRO in this setup, like the EPR scheme? How they operate with you, incentivize you?
Well, it's quite easy, I would say. It's the producers that are putting those plastic packaging on the market. They are paying me per kilogram of plastic packaging they are putting on the market, right?
Yeah.
In order to finance the collection and recycling system all over Sweden. Every customer I have, they want to save money. And they want to reach their climate targets. Every company. And they should become climate neutral in 2030 or 35, 40, 45. Not beyond 45, because Sweden should be climate neutral in 2045. So every company has those targets. So when they visit my plant, I ask them, do you want to save money and climate? And they always tell me, yes. All right, okay. This is the way that it goes. Because when I receive your packaging, either I can sort it out and sell it. And it will become part of the circular economy because it will be recycled. Or the other alternative would be that your packaging is not recyclable. And then it goes to incineration, and I have to pay for getting rid of it. And the climate impact is at incineration plant. So it doesn't make any sense to not recycle. And this is something that my customers are starting to realize, that it's very beneficial to recycle their plastic packaging.
Okay, sounds promising.
It is.
And how it is in Lithuania? You have implemented deposit system in 2016. You mentioned that it was also the time of some infrastructural changes in general in waste management in Lithuania. So how does it look now, and how works the cooperation with EPR scheme in Lithuania?
Yes, of course. Like deposit systems extracts the best material from other sources, but even though in deposit system the ratio of also metal, glass is up to 90% is the best material and well extracted material, totally pure. And with the extended producer's responsibility, PROs pays for the infrastructure and the collection money. So actually EPR works, just there are different targets what they need to reach of the input material of packaging. So let's say they need to reach around 70%. Even though if you extract plastics from MSW or from somewhere else, sometimes you cannot get money from EPR because they say we already reached the target. Okay. So the thing is that even how much you extract, you do not produce those trashes.
Yes.
You extract it from them and you work for them, for producers. So it would be really nice from their point of view and from our point of view to get income of it. Yes, so there's also the discussion all the time here, and I think we're also like need a kind of huge, let's say, really transparent system to understand how much we have and how much we need to process.
Okay. But in such case, do you think that EPR schemes should also change? Like you said, the targets are too low?
It should be higher. I mean, it would be really nice if everything what you extract, you can get some income. Because as a colleague also said that if there are not all the parts of the chain in the system, even though if you extract something, but maybe you are not able to sell it for recyclers because of its different parts, different plastics in one plastic, and then it's like there's no possibilities to recycle. So they also, like EPR and PRO, should talk with manufacturers, as they've done in Norway, that just to explain what kind of plastic we need to be able to recycle, truly.
And it's not happening yet in
or maybe we don't know everything, but it's really a good example, and we're willing to do it also then.
Okay, great. So now I think the more difficult question, Poland, where we sitting here from Polish market, we know that we are waiting for and discussing for many years the EPR scheme in Poland and the reform of this EPR scheme. We also know that new system, whatever it should be, should start to be working 1st January 2023, so within, what, 3 months? And how do you perceive this situation as an operator of the facility in Poland with the waste collection targets, maybe asked by your municipality? How does it look like from your perspective?
Looking from our perspective, it's a big challenge because we don't know what will be the solution, and for sure we know that the market will not be ready for that. Looking even at our current facility, we are able to sort out from mixed plastics around 50% of the material, but we are not able to sell that. Because without EPR system, without all, let's say, environment for this material, you can sort out, but you don't have a market for that. And anyway, it will end up in incineration. It looks like how important it is to have, let's say, good systems and good goals and time for the adoption for that. Because even if we will implement this EPR system 1st January next year, okay, it will be on the paper. It will not be on the physical units. So still, it will take a lot of time to make this adoption, not only for facilities as the one in Gdańsk, but for recyclers, for the manufacturers, so for all the system, for all the parties involved in that system. So let's say lack of clear vision solutions, let's say just makes all these investments and this decision simply not efficient. So we can design plant, but it will be over-designed. We spend more money, we spend more energy than it is needed. So this is the problem: lack of the clear vision.
But you are in the process of investment and developing your plant. So how that's possible if we have no clear vision of...
it is possible because we have European targets, so municipalities need to make these targets. So waiting for new regulations will stop, will cause it would be impossible to make this investment in future. So we made this decision, but making the decision, we were sure that we are confident that it will not be as efficient as it should be. So it was a must. We preferred to make it now and be prepared and meet the targets for municipality. But from an economical point of view, from an environmental point of view, it would be much better to know the clear goals. So now we have very flexible unit. We are a lot of capabilities for sorting out, but we don't have market for that. This market will appear, but it should not be in this way. So our units after this modernization will have advantages on the market. So we will benefit from that because we are one of the first in this position. But all others can only lose for that because or they will have goals and very small time for adoption, or they will make the decision as we've made. But let's say this transition period will be shorter for them, so that they will not benefit from the market.
But you some kind took the risk, right? Because you don't know what will be the EPR scheme, what will be the deposit system to come, but still it's necessary to reach the targets.
Yes, so we don't have scheme, but we have the targets. So it was not an easy decision, especially from a business perspective, but it was a must. We knew that with the past, let's say, system with our facility before the modernization, we would be not able to meet the targets for next year. So it was a must for us to invest in this, let's say, modernization of this unit, but with a lot of question marks. So we made the system as flexible as it is possible. So as I said previously, we can sort out more than 50% of the material from mixed plastics, but we can sell only 40% of that from all stream.
So a lot of challenges in these markets. And talking about these challenges, we all brought it up here. Mariusz, is holistic resource system an answer to any of these problems which has mentioned? Does it support in any way what we were discussing?
I'm quite convinced that yes, but you know, what we hear here, it's the EPR has really important role in all of this. So there are two aspects maybe what I understood. One is the policies in the country. So we see in Sweden, this is the ambition to be climate neutral, clear target, and the industry understood it, and they are going in the dialogue directly with the business. So, and the producer accept also to cover certain costs which are related to those activities. And then we see here in Sweden one of the not only European but world biggest facility which will be in operation in 2 years exactly for sorting different types of plastic. So big role of the EPR. So we've heard also from Norway that there's also a discussion with those producers, and they are open to change because of the awareness increases. But also they are covering part of the cost. So I maybe on the end would like to ask one question to Tere. Okay. Are those producers open also to cover the cost for the non-recyclable packaging? And what are the potential needs from your perspective when it comes about this topic?
Yeah, sorry. They will not cover what we are not sending to recycling at the moment, but that is a big discussion that we have for more years. And our hope was that there will come some more facilities like us in Norway, so we can have some more muscles when we talk to these guys, because we are a little bit too small yet. But I think they will understand it, and I think they already understand it. But of course, it's money, and they have to go to their owners, the brand owners, to get the money. But when we are talking to the brand owners, we see they are more than willing to cover what it really costs, because what we are getting today is not covering the whole job of collecting, sorting, and recycling. It takes care some of these amounts, but not at all. So if it should be a fair system, we need more money from the system. But of course, it's hard for them to go to the brand owners to say, okay, we have to increase the prices with 10%. But I think I said it a lot of time. We need to look to Sweden, because I think the what Matthias and his guys have done, it's really something to look into. And I know the Green Dot system in Norway is also going to build a small Motala plant, but we are a small country. But one central recycler for plastic packaging, and I think that is the right way to go.
So. And Laurenas, maybe also one question to you, because you said that the system in Lithuania already works quite good, but do you observe that in the remaining residual waste there is still packaging?
Yeah, of course.
Although you have the dual system in place, do you see this material?
I think there are up to 1/3 of MSW
still in the mixed
packaging.
Waste.
Yes, there are 2D fraction, light fraction, which is very small, literally not recyclable, but they're still inside.
And how those Lithuanian PROs, what is the attitude from the Lithuanian PROs? Are they willing to cover the costs which you have related to the sorting or
no,
not?
Of course not yet. For them it's much cheaper to get it from commercial, let's say, from somewhere else, rather than just to extract for us, because for us it's much more expensive to extract it from MSW source. It's contaminated, it's not so pure. So in case if they reach their targets, PRO reach targets, and then they do not care what else is going on.
So Anja, just to answer your question, to come to the point, you see, we need to have simple, well-designed EPR scheme. The awareness is key, the policies are key, but also well-designed EPR scheme. And we see in Poland, it's completely missing. As we know from the Eunomia study, the EPR covers only 5% of the necessary cost. In Lithuania, it looks better because they cover much more. In Norway, even better. But it's also not, if I understood correctly, ideal or optimal system. No. And maybe we see in Sweden maybe one of the best cases.
Matthias wanted to
add
something.
Also something will be adjusted or adopted.
Yes, and like I said, we cover our costs with the packaging fee. And in 2018, we introduced a differentiated fee structure. So a company that is putting a packaging on the market that is not recyclable
will pay much more.
They pay 55% more than the alternatives. So if you have a black or white packaging, black is usually difficult to sort. You can easily change the color and lower your cost dramatically. So there are quite strong incentives. What we have seen in only 3 years that we have cut the number of black plastics in half. So we went from 4% to 2% now. So this seems to have an effect on the market. And the producers, our customers, they don't have any objections because they realize, okay, my packaging will cost because you will send it to incineration and it will cause a climate impact. So it sounds quite fair.
Great, thank you. And now I would like to go a bit deeper into the topic of holistic resource system. And I would like to ask you, gentlemen, how do you think if it fits to your market, the concept itself? Like, does it, the topic we discussed, separate collection, maybe without plastic as a one fraction, deposit return scheme, mixed waste sorting, how it may work for your market? And maybe this time lucky one will be Grzegorz as a first.
Okay, so separate collection, of course, is a must. We always should start from that. And depends on that separate collection. The question is if mixed waste sorting is the case or not. Because it is possible, but the material from the sorted from mixed waste might need some further processing. And what we are seeing also now at our facility, we are sorting this mixed waste. We have some resources from there, but they are not so clean. So they have lower price. They have also they do also need further processing. For the mass is the separate collection system, especially get rid of bio waste from mixed waste. And the other question is about the deposit return system. We need to take into consideration that the material that normally goes to the deposit return systems is the most valuable material. So generally, yes, it should be in place deposit return system, but then we should think how to let's say make profitable or economically feasible, let's say the other material stream. So it always must go as a one package and as one, let's say, combined system.
Maybe the answer would be efficient EPR scheme, right? for the economies of
Exactly.
Of the other activity. But if we are talking about mixed waste sorting and the green waste or the food waste, I think this is the question for you. How do you think this element works, and what about this separate collection? What needs to be collected separately and what not?
No, I think that is the most important thing. And we have learned that the hard way, because we put the green bag together with the mixed waste in the same bin. And it's not a big problem for the machines to pick it out and anything, but it's something by the brain of the human, that when you put things in the same bin, you think it's going the same way and it's just going straight to incineration. So I have totally confidence in we need separate collection on food waste, paper and cardboard, and glass, and maybe metal too. But that is also easy to take out, but it wear and tear a lot in the facility, so that is just me talking. Deposit system, it works like the best ever. It gives nice results, and it's like, I don't remember who said it, but you have all the inhabitants working for you, because somebody wants that bottle or that can if it's in the nature, and that's why they are getting these great results. So I think the deposit system is there to be. But then we also need this mixed waste sorting that we have, because not everybody is that good to separate sort at home, and we see the result every day. So it's not this one or this one, we need them all. And I think that is the most important thing. You can't say we just want separate collection and that will solve everything, or say that mixed waste sorting solve everything. We need a mix.
Okay, great. And what is your opinion in these terms? How it would work, or maybe is working in Lithuania?
Yeah, it works actually kind of similar, but at the same time a bit different between municipalities, because there are like 10 regions and 16 municipalities, and there are some small differences between them. So let's say people can have from 1 container up to 5 containers.
Okay.
If you want to extract plastic with metal, then paper separately, glass, and then if you have some grasses,
so it's
you can also order
on municipal level?
A bit difference between municipalities, how much the infrastructure is developed there. So, of course, the most expensive is for those who has only 1 cabin, because all the plastics, papers are paid from PROs. For persons, like nobody should pay for it, because we pay when we buy packaging. Yeah. That's how it should work. And for green waste is just like for persons who really wants it. And about the food waste, there are already regions who are working from next year building the infrastructure and possibilities to take out the gas from food waste as a separate source, which is going on soon.
Okay. And the question for you, Matthias, also, because holistic resource system, it's not only about the recycling levels, it's also about emission cuttings. And I understood that this is the topic now in Sweden. So how important it is, how important this aspect of holistic resource system can be for you, for the market like Sweden, and maybe for other markets?
I think it should be very important to everybody. The reason why we are having recycling at all is because of climate. Recycling rates is only a way of measuring. So it doesn't have a value if I tell everybody recycling rate. It depends on how I recycle it. Because everything is recyclable, in theory. But maybe you need 5 times the energy, fossil fuels, in order to recycle it. What's the value of that recycling? So for us, it's extremely important to connect recycling rates with climate impact. If I do it the right way, it becomes circular. And then we come to the topic of separate collection. To do things circular means never blend, never mix with something else. If you can keep those materials separated, they can, in theory, stay forever in the circularity, right? So if people can be educated to actually sort at home, it's a huge win. Because then I don't later on need to separate things or sort things. And every time I need to separate and sort things, you have some kind of downcycling, meaning that there's something left. So the key is obviously separate collection. But we realize that that's not enough. We don't have the time to change the mindsets of the consumer. So we need also to have some volumes from MRFs, from mixed household waste. And what is interesting in Sweden is that this is completely market-driven, because the waste incinerators, they need to get rid of the plastics, because the plastics is basically oil, and it will result in CO2 emissions. And in order for them to be competitive and offer their customers renewable energy, they need to get rid of the plastics. So basically, it's a win-win situation. They don't want it, and I need it. So we are currently working with several incineration actors, and we are signing bilateral agreements between us in order for us to be able to get those plastics and recycle them.
Okay. Mariusz, your turn. Do you agree that we need to keep everything separately and focus on learning people how to separate? Honestly, knowing Poland and our experiences with selected collection, I have some doubts how good we can be in learning vast majority to keep everything separate.
But it's getting better from year to year, so we see improvement.
Also in the flat buildings, like,
yes,
you know,
yes.
high, etc.
Yes, but this improvement is not as huge as we would expect, but we can see that...
only next 20 years, and we will be in a good track to become Sweden?
Okay.
It always takes a generation.
Yes.
Nobody in Sweden throws a battery or glass packaging in the household waste. Nobody. It takes a generation. Next generation, they will not throw the plastics either. They need to understand that plastic also has value and needs to be recycled.
Nobody throws batteries in household waste in Sweden?
Some.
Because
Extremely rare.
Yeah.
Extremely rare.
Yeah, because we see that in our facility. This is a bit out, but
no problem.
For 10 minutes with 40 tons an hour, we picked up 150 batteries, small batteries, on 10 minutes.
And normally, how you should dispose them if you are
back to the store or on the recycling station or in all the shops that you buy this material, you are able to return it. But still, this shows how hard it is. Because nobody should do this, but we do.
So you are still in this one generation curve of learning, probably.
I'm too young.
So Mariusz, could you try to?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, you already mentioned we need time to be maybe perfect, but the question was whether the society can be perfect. So, and it's not about to criticize. We should focus on separate collection. Yes, no doubt. We should do it, and we should tell the people, please try to collect as much as possible separately. Do this. But then we know there is also a certain part of the population, or there are different requirements that we see still also in the high developed countries. The packaging in the mixed waste, not only Norway.
So well educated.
We see this in Austria and Germany. So we see in different countries this situation, also Sweden. So And it's not an accident that now is the plan in Sweden to build exactly what you said before, to build the capacity to sorting processes before the incineration. So finally, we need all. This is exactly the point. And the HRS, HRS is the solution for today and for now. You know, using the today available technologies for today's issue and for today's situation. So with the development of the redesign of the packaging, we will need time. It's great what you are doing, but we see that it's still the industry need to absorb, need to learn, and will need most probably time to redesign the packaging in that way that 100% of these objects might be recyclable in the future, or a big percentage of this. So finally, the HRS is the answer for today's needs with today's technology, and we should educate the people for separate collection. We should prioritize and then also see the local requirements. And of course, what you said before, we need the recycling industry at that level. The recycling industry needs to be prepared for treat all this 12 kind of plastic. And regardless from the source from which the plastic is coming. You know, imagine that we will live in a world where the food and kitchen waste it's in highly efficient, separate, collected. You know, then you have also a bit different pictures when it comes about the remaining residual waste. So we should put the focus where it's really important. And this aspect also, the current situation with we discussed it before, you know, with the issues with the synthetic fertilizer and how maybe how the society will change also the attitude to the organic fertilizer. So we will need also that the composting process most probably will become also high importance. It's not, of course, the responsibility of EPR. We know the municipality can act today and deal with this topic. So. We should educate, we should go, but we also should see the situation today and now and not inact. We should act.
Okay, and I got a design from Matthias that he would like to add something.
Yes, I really want to express I'm very positive. I think it will be possible to bring plastics to the part of the circular economy in the future. But I can see one big black cloud that is a threat to the whole industry. And that basically is the plastic industry. They are screaming for recycled material of high quality. And what is the recycling industry providing to the market? Low quality. And why is that? Well, it's because it's competition on the market, and every recycler wants to keep their costs low. So they're looking for the definition of recycling. What is recycling? What is considered recycling? And this legislation at the moment is way too weak. You can basically do park benches of everything. And that is not a way of providing a market of products that can be used again and again. I can sell double the amount of what Site Zero, our new plant, will produce. The demand is huge. And they are telling me, Volvo, IKEA, Coca-Cola, they are calling me and say, we love that quality, but how can we find more? And I tell them, search in a park bench or railway sleeper or whatever, there's your material. So we need to go to Brussels and tell them, this is not enough. You have to redefine the definition of recycling of plastics in order to meet the demand and make plastics part of the circular economy.
So do I understand you correctly that we simply need high-quality recycling, so yes, better materials, better recycling processes, and just to focus on high quality?
Yes, you know, otherwise it's easy for me to provide my owners with very high recycling rates. It's no problem, and I can do it cheap. But what's the value of that? In 10 years, I get my bonus and a lot of park benches. But the climate, the circularity is gone.
Yeah.
we didn't reach anything.
Yeah, but also part of this, what you said before, is exactly that the producer demands from one side the recyclates, high quality recyclates, but they are also bringing into the market the right packaging.
Absolutely, absolutely. They are part of the value chain.
Yeah. And they are open to cover the necessary costs. Yeah.
Okay, so now I would like to start a new round with a topic which in Poland is a hot topic, and I would like to use your experiences to talk about it, being second element of our holistic resource system, deposit return scheme. We already mentioned it a bit in some of your answers, but we are facing in Poland very often the discussion that exactly the most valuable part of the stream will disappear, and it will have tremendous impact on the economics and also simply the way of working of the facilities, which has been prepared for a bit different waste stream. So now I want to ask the guys from whom the stream already disappeared, in some cases many, many years ago, as deposit system in Sweden is, 1984, if I remember correctly. So from my perspective, always. How it's possible that you are still having your facilities, you are still having your recycling levels, and probably you are still, you are not so much in the red part of your P&L if you are sitting here and sharing the practices. So I don't know who feels ready to answer as the first one.
Tarja.
Thank you.
So please.
Yeah, but for us, it's not a question because we never saw the bottles because the deposit system was
so
there.
You don't have the best material. How come you can deliver your recycling
No,
rates?
but of course that is the best material, but it's handling on the best way. It's the best way to get it, as Matthias said. Keep it clean. In this system, and then it can go on and on and on for many times. So we don't need those bottles. Then we can focus on the more harder thing. And I understand that this will be hard. This would be hard if we were in the same situation that the PET bottles were there and we had some money from them, but we never were there. So it's hard to see that actually. But we can now focus on all the other plastics and all the other stuff, and it's much to take care of. So we don't need the PET bottles. They can stay there because they're doing a great job and they stay clean. And then I see in Norway or the last year, because bottles should go back to bottles every time. But now this market is changed, so a lot of these trays maker are now coming with recycled PET. And that's from the bottle. And when it's a tray, okay, then it's gone, at least that now. So I think that is also something we need to address, that bottles should go back to bottles if it's a closed loop, because that is a big leak.
So we are coming back again to high quality recycling, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So how...
I totally agree with Tarja. It works perfectly fine for us. The PET recycling system is sort of a role model. That's exactly what we are trying to achieve with all other plastics. That's the reason why we will sort out 12 different plastic types. It's exactly the same thinking. So the shampoo bottle should become a shampoo bottle. And actually, it does. So it's really possible. So I don't see the problem with a deposit system. It works. They have their life. Everybody's happy. And we can do our thing.
Okay. Thanks. But Lithuania, remember, when the PET was the part of the stream, because the system started in 2016, I believe. So not so long time ago. And...
Yeah, but still, there were no MBT plants and no really automatic good sorting plants, because 5 years ago, even more years ago, Lithuania were still kind of cheap labor country, you know.
Okay.
Nobody.
So manual.
Yeah, it was manual sorting, yes. And what's happening now in Europe, that there are lack of working labor, and of course this is the future, that you need to make it automatically. And nowadays there are also discussions that maybe it's worth to expand the types of bottles which could be collected in a deposit system. Let's say vodka, those 5 liters water, and champagnes and so on. So people still drinks, yes, but there are, again, huge investments needed for changing the existing deposit system. So is it worth to do it? Because still some part of it will be still in separate and MSW collection. So maybe it's even worth to upgrade separate and MSW
and what
centers. So yeah, I think the same maybe, because I mean, yes, it's nice, but we also need to think also from people, from citizen position. I mean,
you're a few million of employees for deposit system, as we discussed.
If you say them, okay, bring everything. Yes, so it's even one car. Sometimes it's not enough to deliver everything to deposit.
And they still need few bins to make the selected collection right at home. It's there already.
It's the same bins.
They're used to this.
Yeah, and so it takes like I don't know. Yeah, really. You do not go every day to deposit system. There are more than 1,000 places for deposit systems in Lithuania, and also some smaller places where they just collect manually. But when you measure your time, like elder people time, when they collect, they even do not have maybe cars, and they still need to go with all those glasses, no? So as we are talking right now, that holistic view that everything needs to work.
Yeah.
Not to go to one place only.
And your question to you, or your view, because what if we will follow the path, and as Poland and the stream will disappear of PET bottles, of aluminium cans? Are you prepared for that? As you said, you were looking at in Gdańsk some kind of flexible approach, not knowing what will happen. So what if it happens?
It should happen, but this is the first of all. It's really needed. But I would like to point some arguments. So first of all, I like approach of Matthias with energy intensity and emission of the system, because it shows us the real impact on the environment, and the goal of our business is to make this impact as small as it is possible. So once we look from this perspective, the deposit return system is something good. It gives lower emission in all the value chain, and gives recycling at better quality recycled materials. So this is good. What is not good is that you always need a transition period, and you need to know what to do in this transition period and who will pay for that. So because our unit is ready for that from technical point of view, but our facility is not ready for that from the economical point of view. Because once we will remove the stream from our waste stream, okay, we adopt technically, but then profit and loss will be in red. So what we will do, once we would have EPR system in place, then it will be covered probably from that place. If we will not, we'll go to our citizens and increase the rate for the waste disposal. So the problem is not, let's say, the final system and the stable operation of the system. The problem is the transition period and how it will be covered, the cost, who will pay for that, and how it will motivate overall system for the improvement. Because if it will be cost covered by the citizens, not necessarily it will be efficient. So many people will decide, okay, I pay more for that. I don't need to separate. I throw everything to mixed waste because I pay for that. If we will put this cost on the producer, then the situation will be different. They will think during the production, during the design of the packaging, how to do it better for the recycling. So from my perspective, the problem is a transition period, and this is not technical one, because every unit will adopt, everything is available on the market, but the cost and who will pay that cost.
Okay. Yes, this is, I think, a big part of this discussion, and the fact that we don't see the full picture,
yes,
as other colleagues luckily do, it makes situation in Poland more difficult. But Mariusz, also to address some of the questions we are facing in the discussion on DRS, does it mean that everyone is so prepared like in Gdańsk, or there are the places where part of the technology, sorting technology, will be not necessary? Maybe if the stream will disappear, if there is no PET bottles anymore? What?
I don't see that at all. So it's I agree with you. It's about generally the coverage of the cost of financing of the whole other packaging. Again, the material which should migrate into DRS is, maybe we discussed it also before, maybe between 10 and 20% of the plastic packaging. So means if the industry, if those producers are covering the cost for the remaining 80%, then it's not the issue for the sorting facility. And of course, yes, it must be considered if you are building a new facility or you are thinking about modernization of the plant, that you see what is in the input stream. And of course, if nothing changed, then there will be a loss of income for the streams, no doubt. And maybe, you know, if we see really would like to deep digger and see maybe, yeah, there's one or another unit which is not really necessary, and you will need to sort maybe different type of plastic. But this is exactly also maybe what we should see in the case of Sweden. There is a DRS in place, and you are thinking about sorting out 12 kind of, not materials, plastics. There's 12 types of plastics. But of course, you know, I'm really excited to see the facility. 200,000 ton plastic. It's not 200,000 ton mixed waste, yes, as you have. It's 200,000 ton plastic. Amazing, amazing. You know, I'm more than 20 years in the waste business, but I still struggle to imagine the volume which you will process in the near future. But yes, but this is also all about the scale. And I'm not afraid about facilities like in Gdańsk with bigger throughputs, which are already prepared to treat more than average. We will see a tendency, generally we see it in the deposit market, that we need to think when we start to design a sorting plant about the scale, about the proper size. And we will also see the transition within the next decade, that we from the really small capacities, which we do observe today in Poland, we will change to the bigger capacities, means bigger throughputs per hour. And this is something what is in front of us. And of course, to make the right decision and not to guess from the investor point of view, there would be very helpful to get a clear statement from the government when and what will be covered by DRS, and how the EPR system should look like. So that's a crucial information to make those all investment reasonable and to spend the money in an efficient way. This is what is crucial, to spend the money there, what is necessary, and to make a well-designed facilities for the and future-oriented.
Great. Okay. Thank you. And we are coming to the last round of our questions due to time. And I would like ask you a bit to give us kind of wish list, like talking about the challenges you see in your markets, talking about opportunities, what you would like to change, or what you believe would improve the most the current system. What is the thing which would help you to reach to the goals in terms of recycling, emission, what you are aiming at? Maybe we can start from you.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I also started to talk a bit before about that let's let's talk about even Sweden, that so many years with a deposit system, and they're still upgrading, they're still building bigger infrastructure to work with it. And Lithuania, I think we know the amounts quite good. We already made a studio how much and how many and what kind of facilities we would need to work with the plastics, let's say. And I think we should move forward, because like the main investments were made like 10 years ago. Okay. Everything is going further. It still needs time to project and to make all these infrastructures for future. So within this time, I think we should start thinking and going forward, not to stay in the place that we say, okay, we have everything and everything is fine. There's still plenty of place where to improve. And just there are plenty of good examples around us. We just need to collaborate, think how we should make it better, and go forward with upgrading the existing system in MSW and separate collection, really automatic systems of sorting.
Okay. So still you see a way to go for Lithuania.
There's plenty of space.
Terje, is there also still a lot of improve, or only minor details?
No, it's not minor details. It's big problems, I have to say, because and my main concern is the food waste.
Okay.
How to make people put food waste in a green bag or a paper bag or something. We need to solve that, and that is not just for my business. It's all over Norway. It's the same result. Some are of course a little bit better. Maybe we are on 50%. We have some on 60, maybe 65, but still it's not good at all. And all that food waste, we could make biogas, biofertilizer, as we talked about. We really need to take care of this good stuff, and we need to use it again. So my biggest concern is the food waste. And the second concern is what you said. It's the same in Norway. Every municipality can make their own choices of if you want 1 bin, 5 bins, or 7 bins, with different colors and everything. But now we have agreed on the colors.
Lucky you.
Yeah, it took 20 years, I think, but now we're there. So now all the producers are marking all the products with plastic that is purple. It's the same in Sweden and Denmark. It's a Scandinavian model. Okay. Hopefully, maybe it will come to the EU. We're talking about it. And then it's up to us to also change all the lids on the containers to be the same color. That will, of course, take some years, but then it will not be so hard for people when they are moving around in the country.
To understand.
Because, okay, you know the color and you know what you should be. But
you know that we are in front of Norway, because in Poland we made the change several years ago that we unified the colors at least.
And I hope they will not come soon and tell us, make it purple instead. After 10 years of talking to people, you need to put plastic into yellow bin. It would be kind of tricky.
Yeah, but can I just put in one more thing? And I also hope that more municipalities in Norway will do what we've done and put up some facilities like this. Maybe not this exactly how we did it, but we need to do something with the mixed waste, because people are not good enough to do this.
Okay, and in place where people are good enough to segregate correctly, so what are your wishes?
Oh, I have 2 wishes. Sweden managed to change from landfilling to incineration because of the landfill tax. It became too expensive to put it on landfills. So I think 1% of the MSW is currently being put on landfill. The Swedish waste and incineration plants, they are connected to the emission trading system of Europe. So there's basically 2 ways of pushing investments. One is to increase demand for whatever you are doing. The other way is to make the alternative too costly. And what is happening in Sweden, while they are connected to the emission trading system, is the same effect as the landfill tax. It becomes too costly to incinerate. And the market understands that. And that's the reason why I got money for Site Zero. Because they realized this is a way for us of saving money and climate.
By the way.
Never forget. So this is extremely important. What I'm a little bit curious about or frustrated is that it's only Swedish, Danish, and Lithuanian waste-to-energy plants that are connected to the ETS system. Not German, not Belgium, Netherlands, Norway. They should be. All of them should be.
And then the economics starts to work for recycling, right? To incentivize.
Definitely. It's the new landfill tax, but on incineration. This is very important. Secondly, I already mentioned, for the plastic industry to survive, we need to make some adjustments on the definition of what is regarded recycling.
Okay.
I'm finished.
Great. Grzegorz, your wish list, dreams?
So what is my wish list? Only three things. Stability, because we need, let's say, a stable regulation and a clear vision, because, let's say, adoption will take some years. Then transparency. We need to have clear data on how the system works, if we recycle to produce the benches or, let's say, good value of high-value products. And the final one, education. Because in all the system we do not have enough knowledge to let's say manage this properly. This education means also starting from let's say all of us citizens, but also recyclers, manufacturers, and waste management. We don't know the needs of other parties. So we are sometimes, let's say, blinded by some definitions, but not as you have said. In Norway, you start a discussion with let's say, your clients, and then you have found solution somewhere in between. And it will take some years. So, but first we need the stability, transparency to make this education of all parties of the system.
Okay. Sounds simple, which I believe it's maybe not the truth.
Let's start from stability.
Mariusz, and you have any wish list regarding good practices or changes in the landscape, however we will call it?
Yes, of course. You know, first of all, I would like that, and I appreciate really what you said, that we would like also have the similar approach that we think more about the climate. So, and we really talking about waste, we also start to talk not only about the recycling rates, but we start to talk also about the reduction of the CO2 emissions. So this is the first aspect, and we see it as really as a goal for all of us. So because we see how important it is generally in our life for our society. This is the first aspect. The second, when it comes about the EPR, I would like that the EPR, that the producer, take the responsibility seriously. Nothing more, only that they really take the responsibility. Maybe it's really important to also redefine not only the recycling, but what does it mean be responsible? So that it's the understanding is the definition is the correct one, and across Europe the same. So what does it mean being responsible? Because for me, it's a question mark. Why in Sweden we see this maybe the same producer are having such an attitude as we heard today, and for example in Poland a bit different. So, and the third one, that also having a full EPR scheme in place, the well-designed EPR scheme in place, that the sorting plant operator start to think about high efficiency, how to increase and improve and optimize those systems. You know, we should focus on being effective, productive, and the facility should have a high performance, and we should not be afraid for changing something, also maybe rebuilding, maybe combined stream, maybe close with certain period of time some facilities and build a more effective one, because you know we see how fast that time is flowing. So, and of course, it's nothing against that. Maybe we will have less, but better facilities in 10 years in Poland as well. So, for me, just to conclude in 3 words, redefine the responsibility for the EPR, care about the efficiency and the high performance. And the third one I a bit forgot before, but it's most probably already there.
Great. So I think, thank you very much. We are coming a bit to an end. I just wanted to ask you if you have anything to add, or maybe still comment or make some closing remarks, saying something more, or you feel comfortable?
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you here. It was a pleasure to discuss with you. I think that we have a lot of now things to think about, a lot of good practices shared, and a quite common point on this, that EPR is a very important factor which influence the activities of all the facilities, recycling plants in various countries, and we could see how the better designed or worse designed EPR scheme can influence how the recycling levels are, how the operation, how the market is working, waste management market is working in some countries. So thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who listened to us. And I want to invite you also for our Q&A session, which will take place now. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.